This man, Valentino Dixon, is asking for the district attorney to clear him, and Channel 2's Claudine Ewing goes behind prison walls to ask him some tough questions, while survivors of the horrific tragedy still believe justice was served. It's a Two on Your Side original story with a number of twists and turns.
To understand this story, we have to connect the dots. Watch closely. This man, Valentino Dixon, is in prison for murder. Yet this man, Lamar Scott, claims he's the real killer. The victim's Toriano Jackson, just 17 when he was killed, and his brother Aaron was also shot, but he survived. Dixon has maintained his innocence from day one, yet for 27 years, his life has been behind bars.
August 10th, 1991, you did or didn't do it?
I did not shoot anyone. I did not commit this crime.
This is where it happened, Bailey and East Delavan in Buffalo. Back then, Louis' Hot Dog was where a drugstore now stands. It was a popular hangout, but this night trouble was brewing. Jackson recalls leaving to go get his brother, and when they returned,
it was a street fight that turned into a homicide, and it was a machine gun that was used. My younger brother was shot 15 to 20 times, and I was shot myself.
Aaron Jackson considers himself a living witness, a survivor. For him, it's hurtful, reliving the past, but he is forced to think about his younger brother, Tori.
Never had a chance to be the light that I knew that he was. Never had a chance to be a father.
Valentino Dixon has filed a 440 motion for his murder conviction to be overturned.
Valentino Dixon says he did not do it. Are you 100% sure?
200.
You remember his face?
It looked like Valentino Dixon. Just take accountability and take responsibility for what you created. This is what you've created. In prison is where you sit. I live with the decision that you made.
According to Dixon, he was in a nearby store when he heard shots fired. There was a huge crowd, and he says he jumped in his car and took off.
Did you have a weapon?
That night I didn't have a weapon. Okay, didn't shoot a weapon, didn't have a weapon.
Buffalo police eventually pulled him over. Dixon was arrested for the shootings. He went to trial, and that's where he believes the truth didn't come out.
Show me a case where the lead detective doesn't testify in a murder trial. Show me a case in America where 8 or 9 witnesses is going to lie about a person committing a crime, especially people in the ghetto. It doesn't happen.
He's referring to witnesses on this list to testify that he was not the shooter, but they were never called to court. Some were charged with perjury. There was a third shooting victim interviewed by police while still in ICU. This police statement indicates he answered by nodding that, quote, Dixon did not shoot him. In 2007, a Marine, a veteran, gave a statement for the first time saying that he saw Dixon ducking as if he was trying to get out of the way. He was not shooting. Dixon's clothes were tested for gun residue. No report or testimony in court showed he had any. But this may be the most head-scratching part. Lamar Scott admitted he was the killer. He first said it in a Channel 2 interview hours after the homicide in 1991. Listen.
I don't want my friend to take the rap for something that I did. The guy that's dead, the guy that I shot, him and his friends were threatening us all day long. So I rode home on my bike on Montana Street and came back with an Uzi that I obtained on the street. The reason he died, because I didn't have any control of the automatic weapon at all.
Our camera was rolling when he was taken away, but he was released. He recanted, claiming the prosecutor made him change his story. Scott is now in prison for attempted murder, but has said several times in statements to police in 2002 and 2006 that he shot and killed Toriano Jackson. In 2004, he spoke with Channel 2's Pete Gallivan while in prison.
Did you shoot Toriano Jackson?
Yes, I did.
Valentino Dixon is serving a 39-year-to-life prison sentence. He spent time at Attica. Now he's here at Wendy, and he's not eligible for parole until 2030.
His life at the end of 39. I don't see that he should ever be free.
Dixon spends 8 to 9 hours a day drawing. His artwork has gained national attention by the Golf Digest because of the golf courses, and he showed us some of his latest work, and while doing so, it was clear.
And you want out because you say you did not do it.
I didn't do this crime. I didn't commit it.
All of the paperwork that he's putting together to show that he didn't do it. I mean, he's pressing hard, right?
It's a deceptive enterprise that has been put together. Like, all of these lies, all of these misleading things, all of pointing over here and looking over there, like it's just, he's painting a picture.
Now, the Erie County District Attorney must consider if newly discovered evidence and witnesses should be considered for a hearing that could see Dixon exonerated, including a new statement from Lamar Scott that he is the real killer.
It's obviously something to look at.
But what about the ballistics, though? I mean, no gun residue found in his car or on his clothes?
Yeah, that's a factor.
When will you make a decision?
Within a month, but if I need more time, then I'll ask the court for extension.
Here's what the DA can do: agree with the motion, oppose the motion and consent to a hearing, or deny it and Dixon stays in prison.
You will be able to decide whether or not Valentino Dixon walks or stays.
I definitely have a major role if I don't oppose it.
You're talking about a wrongful conviction? No, it was righteous. Justice was served. And I trust and believe that it will continue to be upheld.
There are a lot of people who believe that you did it.
Claudine, they all know I didn't do it. Aaron know I didn't do it.
And what about the people who say that you're lying?
I don't have no credibility. Let's get that straight, okay? Because I can say I'm innocent all day long. I don't have no credibility. The evidence shows you that I'm innocent.
Evidence. There is a lot. And that's what the DA will use to make a decision on whether or not this man should be set free.
I'll hang in there for as long as I have breath in my lungs.
He might be a model prisoner, but he was a reckless citizen.
Connecting the dots in the search for truth and justice. So the key here is new evidence. That is what the district attorney will concentrate on. That could be a juror coming forth or new witnesses. In fact, Flynn tells me if he believes the motion has merit, we could see a hearing this year. We'll have more from our interviews online this evening on WGRZ.com. Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.
In this original report, Channel 2's Claudine Ewing explains what's happening now.
Will Valentino Dixon get a hearing, be released, or stay in prison?
I have basically a man's life in my hands, whether or not he gets out of jail or whether or not he stays in jail.
You know, God tests all of us, and that you never know what the test is going to be or how long that the test is going to last. You just got to hang in there.
After 27 years locked up for a crime someone else admitted to, Valentino Dixon is a free man tonight. Good evening, I'm Mary Alice Demler.
And hello, everyone. I'm Scott Levin. A Two on Your Side original brought this story back into the spotlight this year. And today, another man pleaded guilty to the killing, and Mr. Dixon walked free.
Our Claudine Ewing's story led to this happening, and she was in court today to see the conclusion.
This is the moment. 27 years behind bars for murder, and now it's clear Valentino Dixon did not do the crime.
This is the greatest feeling in the world. It's undescribable, and we've been waiting 27 years for this moment.
This is how it all unfolded in court this morning. The man who prosecutors say confessed at least 10 times, including twice on camera to Channel 2, pled guilty to manslaughter and assault in connection with the death of Toriano Jackson and wounding others, including Jackson's brother Aaron. No audio could be recorded in the courtroom. Scott said he intended to shoot people, adding, "I pulled the trigger and all the bullets came out." Unfortunately, Toriano died. Within the hour, Valentino Dixon went before the judge, and in court we learned that the original prosecutors never revealed to Dixon's defense team that tests for gun residue on Dixon's hands came back negative.
The results of the polygraph tests show that he passed in the sense that he was telling the truth when he said that he did not shoot Toriano Jackson.
Outside the courtroom, his daughter.
You were 4 months old when he went to prison. What is it going to be like to see your dad a free man?
It's going to give us the opportunity to have a new life.
And once he was able to walk out of the courthouse a free man, his mother.
I'm just overwhelmed.
Less than an hour after his release, we got to talk about this case and his new freedom.
We had 3 DAs that, looked into this case and it didn't go anywhere. John Flynn actually put some effort into trying to, ascertain the truth, and it made all the difference in the world.
Describe that feeling, standing before the judge and the judge exonerated you.
I have to be grateful, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm gonna write John Flynn a letter and thank him because, not all DAs, judges, or prosecutors have the integrity or the honor to fix a situation that's wrong.
Dixon says words are cheap, but action is everything. Now he will reconnect with family.
Now, as for Lamar Scott, he's been in prison since 1993 for an unrelated crime, and his sentence for the death of Toriano Jackson will run concurrently. Georgetown University students also played a big role in working on wrongful convictions. Their uncovering of facts were very helpful in this push for freedom for Valentino Dixon.
It's amazing, Claudine. We don't see these exonerations very often. And what are Mr. Dixon's plans now?
You know, on a lighter note, he says today he's going to be celebrating with family. They're going to go to Red Lobster. He has a 90-year-old grandmother. He plans on making breakfast for her tomorrow. But more importantly, he says he's going to be fighting for some causes, especially when it comes to prison reform and sentencing. And we're going to have more on that coming up at 6 o'clock.
Valentino Dixon can now smile. He's a free man.
It's unbelievable.
He was serving 39 years to life. He spent 27 years in prison at Attica and Wendy, all the while saying he did not murder Toriano Jackson. Today, a judge exonerated him of murder, but the gun charge sticks. And this man, Lamar Scott, who confessed 10 times, including twice to Channel 2, that he was the killer, was charged with manslaughter and assault. And now the Dixon family can breathe.
What is the first thing you want to say to him when you see him?
Daddy, it's time that we start living life together out in the real world.
She wants to get her dad a cell phone. Valentino stood before a judge, and because audio was not allowed, we can only show you the crowd applauding as he was exonerated of murder.
I don't have no words.
But outside, as he left the courthouse, no longer wearing prison-issued clothes, the cheers were loud, and he had a message.
Prison rhetoric with the mass incarceration needs to stop, and we need to come up with a solution on how to, render justice for those that's poor. Because if you don't have any money in the system, it's hard to get justice because the system is not equipped or designed to give a poor person a fair trial.
We got to talk with him briefly after court.
I always felt this day would come, but I didn't know when, okay? Because God always sent me the signs, Every time I was in a funk or I felt like, I can't go any longer, God always sent somebody to help.
Coming out and seeing your mother.
That's the best feeling in the world. I just look forward to doing a lot of things that don't necessarily cost money, but just spending time with them. I like to cook, so I'm gonna do a lot of cooking, and just spend quality time.
Life now as a free man will include a fight to change the criminal justice system.
My solution for prison reform is to reduce the sentencing laws. Okay, the sentencing laws are outrageous, especially in New York State. You're giving people double time.
And he's an artist. His colored pencil drawings of golf courses have been featured in golf magazines. Life now will be art and family. After nearly 3 decades behind bars, a walk in the park with your daughter, who was only 4 months old when he went to prison for a murder he did not commit, is just another moment in time for Valentino Dixon.
Well, I ain't been in the park in 30 years, 27 years. The feeling is undescribable, man. This is peace. This is not a peace that I'm not used to.
Yes, thank you!
One day after Dixon was exonerated of murder charges, he's adjusting to life outside of prison walls in Buffalo.
The neighborhood was bad when I left, but now it seems like they're 1,000 times worse. And I wanted to cry.
But society has changed.
The cell phone is the most foreign thing that you could ever deal with.
He has to learn to text and email.
I was riding with my lawyer from the courthouse to Red Lobster, and he put in the GPS, and it was actually talking to him and telling them, hey, go up a block, and I'm like, really?
During our interview, a call from Dallas from someone Dixon knew in high school. They were both art majors.
Gino, guess what? Thank you. What? I think I'm a better artist than you now.
You are.
You was my hero back then.
In prison, he would draw up to 10 hours a day. Many were golf courses. Other drawings are now on the walls of his mother's home.
He's one of the greatest in the ring. Oprah Winfrey. Iconic.
Besides art, he likes to cook.
Like I make better macaroni and cheese than...
Oh, no, now that you don't.
Through her health battle, she's welcoming her son home, and his daughter is in town for the transition.
I never thought this day would come, that we'd be standing in a park together and enjoying nature.
Right.
It's always been standing at the vacation trailer home.
Or the prison.
Father and daughter time.
But we reunited, so come on, bring it in.